And it was the largest, I guess I don't have to watch my words so much. It was televised. The place was packed. It's the biggest, it's called Exponential. It's the largest church planting seminar in the entire world. They used to have 2 a year. One was in L.A. and one's in Orlando. And then for whatever reason, they only have 1 a year now. It's in Orlando. I just went in, I think it was in March. And they usually average 6,000 people, sometimes more than 6,000 people. Most of them are American, Canadians, but they have people from all over the world go there. And it's led by Sunday churches, Protestantism, some of the biggest names in Protestantism in America, names you'd recognize, and people even from other countries. And just talking about principles and how to plant new churches and, grow churches. And they try to get all kinds of speakers every year, just like anybody, try to get the bigger names because then they assume people will like it more and come more. And one of the names, who's the guy that wrote the Purpose-Driven Church and Purpose-Driven Life? And Rick Warren. I think he just retired approximately, give or take a couple of months ago or something like that. Yeah, it retired. No, I just saw it online. He just retired recently. Yeah. I'm not saying he's never done anything, but I think he just recently is retired. It was a whole stink because their church is in California, a suburb of Los Angeles. The church leader is now a husband and a wife, and because they were part of the Baptist denomination, they were freaking out. They're talking about disfellowshipping him because it was a girl, and God forbid girls talk about Jesus, and so they were going to kick him out of the Baptist denomination. So that's a whole other discussion. But anyways, that's how I heard about it, because he's stepping down, and he's one of the 2 lead, I'm sure they got tons of pastors, but one of the 2 lead pastors, the husband and the wife, and she was going to be a pastor, and it's a girl. So that was a problem for him. But anyway, and I'm forgetting the name of the church where it wasn't his, but anyway, some huge mega church there in Los Angeles. Beautiful, beautiful campus. Anyway, he was one of the speakers, and he'd go around hugging everybody and their neighbor, and then he was on stage talking about church planting principles. And I couldn't believe it because this place is packed. And as I'm sitting there, I'm on, from the seats looking at the stage, I'm on the left side. From the stage, I'd be on the right side, and with some other Adventists and stuff. And he was up there. What's his name again? Rick Warren. And he was saying how the Pope, and I wish I would have written it down to remember it, how the Catholic Pope has given him a special title, and he goes over. If you didn't know it, he's the American Christian representative on behalf of all of you, as the American Christian representative. And he meets with him regularly. He was saying this live in front of a whole room, lights on. I'm not hearing it from 8 other people, but directly from him. And how he's been meeting with him for quite some time. And he goes over there quite often to pray for the Pope, and because they are, many church leaders are coming to an understanding that they think it gives this group of people the bad impression because Christianity isn't united. And so many leaders behind the scenes, and he is the main one going over to the papacy literally often every year on behalf of America and Christians to pray for the Pope and try to figure out behind the scenes how we can all get united, just in case that sounds familiar to some of you. And saying it publicly and proudly and happily, and it's like, man, we need to just get together and all unite. And so, to me, there are, how could I put it nicely, groups, sources, entities, powers out there that are so happy and looking forward to, maybe instead of calling it passing of a Sunday law, we'll call it something nicer, uniting. Oh, I didn't spell it wrong. That they want to unite. And to me, that happens right here. Different people will call it different things, but this uniting I've literally heard it from the lips of, he just retired, so he's not as prominent as he used to be. But he's planted tons of churches, tons of people went to him to learn of him. And so when he and other people say, hey, now's the time, let's do it. There's a lot of people who will think that's a wonderful benefit. To me, and I think Revelation speaks about it, I think this is all set up and ready to go, in my opinion, my interpretive opinion. I think the only thing holding this back is this: God's converted people. God's people are slow.